for at least 4 years at that point. I think she graduated with like possibly a 6th grade education. He paid straight cash for my mother to attend Hampton University, and even with his limited education, he knew that a way for our people to get free is to be educated. Now the same young woman, my mother, who he put through school, has $125,000 in Parent Plus loans in combination of from me and my sister. She pushed me and my sister through to go to school so we could take on the same lessons that she was taught, and she allowed us to go to our preferred universities versus other routes. And specifically, something I was mentioning earlier is for kids that are trying to become like marine biologists in Virginia, which at the time that's what I was doing. Virginia has 2 schools, and I think only one of them is public, which is Old Dominion, that offers a marine biology degree. So they actually have a partnership with South Carolina, so kids can go down there to go to school and get education in STEM. And I think black women in STEM is super important, but they should have much more options than just one school or the private options. That being said, I did go to Florida International University and graduated with something completely opposite, like Marcus was saying earlier. The struggle of parents carrying Parent Plus debt is a point that's not mentioned enough, especially for black folks that are working out of generational debt and working their way into generational wealth. As a law school applicant, I'm currently standing on the $75,000 of undergrad debt between my mother and $12,000 that I was told from a student advisor that I needed to take at FIU unnecessarily. My mother's only option for any forgiveness is limited, even with the help of President Biden's efforts. Gone are the days of college being affordable for the lower middle class. The student debt crisis is a much wider range than we perceive and talk about, and it's much more inclusive. And I think when we talk about points about intersectionality, these points of black women getting education should be centered in the forefront. From people like my grandfather to folks like my mother or I, higher education should be an achievable right, not a far-off dream. Once again, an achievable right, not a far-off dream, like it once was when my grandfather started school, or stopped, therefore. He always used to say, what we do as a family becomes what he is. So far, with my aunts alone, my grandfather has become a teacher, an international lawyer, Juilliard-educated choreographer, an army nurse, a chef, and I'm just trying to add on to the list and make him a lawyer for the Black Liberation Movement. Thank you, y'all.
All right, one more big round of applause for Imani. Fun fact, as a native of our nation's capital, the residents of Washington, D.C. actually have the highest debt per borrower rate in the country. So when we talk about issues directly impacting black and brown people across the country, they most acutely impact black and brown people right here in the nation's capital, in our backyard. So I want to thank you, Imani, for speaking to that story. Our next speaker is Portia White. She's the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships in Citizens United. Like so many of us today, she is a borrower whose student debt story has affected every aspect of her life, including her ability to invest in her future goals, like purchasing a home. This fight is personal, and why she fights to end dark money and protect the right to vote so that borrowers like us have a voice in the system and not just corporate interests, like those challenging our student debt relief who are stacking the deck against us. So let's hear it real loud for Portia.
Hey y'all, I'm Portia White, Vice President at In Citizens United, Let America Vote. And at ECU LAV, what we're doing is fighting to end dark money and protect all of our freedom to vote, because that's how we ensure that we, as a people, have a voice in our system. That's how we get to have decisions about working people and how we should all be getting debt relief from student loan debt, right? Whether the system is going to work for all of us or whether the system is only going to work for corporate special interests and dark money extremist groups. Today, there are millions of Americans who need this relief now. Many of them are women, many of them are black women, many of them are black people, and they're demanding that now we get relief in the form of student loan debt relief, right? I'm a borrower myself, like you said earlier. I know that my student loan debt has affected my ability to live the American dream that we're all promised, including buying a home. And as all these speakers have also said today, we know that this student loan debt cancellation is legal. It is just, and it's necessary now. So if we all know this, what's holding it up, right? Let's take a look at the groups who have filed against this, right? Let's talk about the people who are protecting their own special interests, their own tax dollars, their own corporate handouts, and are not caring that people out here are struggling every single day while they are benefiting from these corporate handouts that they're getting. Let's talk about how we as a people are being shut out of a process that affects us, and a special few get to make this decision about our lives. So let's take our power back. Let's tell the Supreme Court justices that we will be heard. Let's tell these extremist Republicans that they cannot enact their MAGA agenda and keep shutting out the voices of the people. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I started this thing and I'm ending this thing today. Thank you everyone who came out and showed up. We stood for not only ourselves, but for the 40 million student borrowers across the country. I would be remiss if I didn't thank our anchor partners who really helped pull this together. First and foremost, not that I'm biased, but Young Invincibles. Where you at? Satra, come. Satra has helped lead this thing from start to finish when she had only worked for our organization about 2 weeks before I said, hey, we're doing this thing. And I need you to lead it. Student Borrower Protection Center, Aisa, come on, honey. Let the world see you. The NAACP Wisdom, are you around? Student Debt Crisis Center, Sabrina, Cody, is somebody here? And I also forgot Amari from the NAACP. Where are you, Soror? Because if there's one thing that's happening, it's going to be deltas in the room when things are going down, okay? Who else have I forgotten here? Oh, we the 45? Melissa? New Georgia Project? Max from Rise, where are you? The Debt Collective, someone? These are our anchor partners. There would have not been a today without the people you see here. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank Pizza to the Poles for providing lunch. I want to thank all of our partners for helping to provide breakfast. And I want you guys to know that what we did today, it matters. So I want you to leave here with your heads held